Welcome to Connect with Carla B. So today I'm here sitting with, I would like to call a friend, someone I know here in my local community, and someone that I'm connected to in multiple ways. So I'm connected with Jason Bryant because this is a funny thing, but he's my bike guy. If I have any problems with my bicycle, the bicycle too nice for me anyway, but if I have any problems with it, it's above my abilities. Let's just say that I go to Jason. Jason had a bike speakeasy shop, and you were able to go and, especially as a woman, feel like you were dropping it off in a trusted place where you were going to be properly taken care of. And as a woman, that's really important. Also worked with Jason December before last to plan an incredible event called the Winter Market right around this area as well. And but I want to give Jason Bryant an opportunity to introduce himself to you. Like, Jason, if you had, I don't know, whomever you admire the most about to introduce you, how would you want to be introduced? I want you to introduce yourself to the audience the way you would like to be introduced. What should people know about Jason Bryant? What's important for people to know about you?
That's a pretty interesting question because most people know I wear a lot of hats. I think the first thing I would want people to know is that I care about my people. Mm-hmm. And when I say my people, I am talking about brown people. I care about people in general, but definitely about brown people. But I also have a softer spot for South St. Pete people. So I don't know how somebody else would articulate that.
Yeah,
but I think that's probably
we have that in common. How I say it is I am extremely South St. Pete centric. This is where I live. Stop trying to pull me into other. Look, we got work to do here. This is where I'm at, and I don't apologize for it. People who know me know.
And neither do I. Wear it very well in all avenues that I'm in, and we'll talk about that too. Mm-hmm. But I would say just someone who cares about his people, someone who likes to make a difference, someone who likes to challenge the thinking that we've been given. And I'm also just someone who likes to add value.
To whatever.
Everything I'm doing could be, we're going to clean up this trash. I want to, find a way to make it efficient so we can, you know what I mean? Like, that's just how I like to operate.
So were you born here in St. Petersburg? Where were you born?
So actually not born here. So what it was, my mom, she grew up here. She went to high school here.
Okay.
But we also have a lot of family in Polk County.
Okay.
So when I was actually born up there.
Okay.
And we moved back here when I was about 1 or 2.
Okay.
And I have been here. I grew up here. So I went to elementary, middle, high.
Which high school?
So I graduated from Dixie. We moved around a lot. I graduated from Dixie, but I also went to Northeastern Bogey.
Okay.
It's no longer called Dixie anymore either.
If anybody sees your social, we know that you care a lot about your mother.
Oh, absolutely.
We could see that is an important woman in your life.
Absolutely.
Tell us about that relationship with your mom.
We've always had a partnership because she raised us on her own, and I'm the oldest.
Okay.
So it's funny because Mr. B got a chance to meet my mom. Him and Miss B, they saw we were working in here, and they saw us eat, and they talked to my sister, and they let them know that my nickname to my siblings was Brother Dad.
Brother Dad.
Because that was just the relationship we always had.
Wow.
So we've always I understood, even at an early age. I don't think I got it as much as you can at that age, but I understood that I had things I had to help her with, and we just had a understanding. And now as an adult, I realized, or I can only imagine, what she had to do to raise us to the way that she did.
How many siblings?
There's 4 of us living.
Okay. Yeah, I'm one of 4 as well, and I understand that role because the reason I know how to play chess was my eldest brother played chess. And so one of his responsibilities was to teach us and to make sure that we knew how to play chess. That was one of those things instilled in us. If you're going to be in business, you need to understand strategy. If you're going to understand strategy, this is a game of strategy. So it was interesting for people running into me, the younger Carla, and I'm killing it on chessboards no matter where I go. I would always have a travel set with me. So I'm looking forward to getting back into that more. But new era thinking, you don't normally see that here, but when you're seeing a business called New Era Thinking, and I remember used to be in the BB&T building. So tell us about what is New Era Thinking. And I mean, here was this Black man that's in that. It was a BB&T building, right? Because I remember I went up there for something else, and like there you are, you had the conference room. It was just a different way of thinking. As somebody from New York, it was like, that's why I asked you, where were you born? Because, but tell us about New Era Thinking and what that's about. How was that born, and what do you do?
So New Era Thinking, we go by the slogan of New Eras Coffee, New Thinking. And that came up because I got introduced to the business world when I was about 19, and it happened to be around basically some moguls, and they were doing well. These were kind of, we'll say, overnight millionaires and stuff like that, but people who came up on money fast and short amount of frame in the mortgage industry.
Okay.
So the mortgage boom and crash, I was a part of that.
Okay.
And these were people that were doing pretty well, and I was a kid, you know, coming from South St. Pete. So it was very different. And what I realized is that, and going back to like the relationship with my mom and how much she's influenced me, she has still like certain core things in me. So even though I was being exposed to a lot, I kind of was still like, yeah, I see them doing that, but I don't know if I want to do that.
Okay.
You know, so I started to realize that, you know, a lot of them were like dog eat dog, and step on who you need to step on and whatever. And I never felt that way. I always felt like there was an abundance, and I feel like I could, you know, there's always going to be enough, because no matter what, I'm going to be, I know I'm always going to be good. I know I'm chosen. I always knew that.
So it's like principled thinking. And that's sometimes what's missing from most people, is just having principles.
Yeah.
And you define that. It doesn't get defined for you, because at every juncture, you get to make a go, no go decision. And each decision has consequences associated with it. Exactly. So what does New Era Thinking do? What do you guys do?
So we focus on positive events and coaching.
Okay.
And the positive events can be a networking event.
Okay.
It could be a conference, workshops that we do.
Okay. Or
it could be a community event, which is where a lot of places where we connect.
Okay. And then I know that you were right now we're sitting in what was formerly known as Chief Creole. And you mentioned the Brave Boys earlier. And I know that just recently, almost to the point of a sting, you were part of the Manhattan collaboration, that larger group that decided to come in. Tell us about that, like coming in and then not, you know, it not turning out the way I think we all hoped that it would have. And then here you are again in another venture one block away.
I think it speaks to what I mentioned before. I just care about being over here with my people and giving them something. So that's one driving factor. But to like the Manhattan casino endeavor, I learned so many lessons. That was my first like restaurant business. I've done a lot of different businesses. That's the first restaurant. So I learned a lot there. I learned a lot about how to interact with like city officials as far as when you're working with their business, not just doing an event with them. That's different. And then when you work with other people who care about the city too, particularly the South Side, and understanding the history and all that. So with that said, those are always things that will draw me to this area no matter what, which is why I'm kind of like, hey, you know what? I like being up the block. So what I got out of that and all that stuff. So lessons learned. I realized that I still do care about it, even though it didn't come out the way we want to, which is, you know, that was like the main thing. Like, out of all that, all the money, heartache, and fights and all of that stuff, I know that I still am okay with that. It's almost like that relationship with that person. You know, it's just like, you know that that's your person and that's what you want to work through things with. And that's how I feel about South St. Pete. And to now, when this came up, I actually saw when they were, you know, they made the announcement or whatever. But I didn't really blink about it, to be honest with you. I was like, okay, they're doing that. Because I wanted to, no matter what, wait like another couple quarters before I did anything else. And my good friend, you know, Jeffrey Copeland hit me up and was like, "Hey man, what you think about this?"
Mhm.
And I was honest. I said, I'm not thinking about it at all.
Right.
Like I'm just kind of chilling, enjoying, not having to be at a place every day
Right.
and just kind of,
Yeah.
you kind of put your all in, not just financially. And, but I really thought about it and I was like, man, I do kind of miss giving people somewhere to go where I know I can, and that's where I can create a vibe.
Okay.
That's the thing I realized, because I go hang out in all these places downtown, I travel, I do all that stuff. So I get to see a lot. And I noticed that there, particularly in St. Pete, there are a lot of black people within a certain radius, but there's not really anywhere for them to go. And the main place where you would go, which is downtown, is like a mile away from most of them, 2 to 3 for the majority. You go down there and it's not really an environment for you.
Right.
So it's just like, and not saying like no one's welcome, because, you know, even last night we did a little soft opening and it was predominantly black. But all my friends of other ethnicities knew they could be in here and they felt comfortable and everybody had a good time. They mingled and all that stuff. So it's almost like that reverse of when I go downtown, it's predominantly for a certain demographic. I'm welcome, but it's very clear that I'm in their space.
Right.
I'm doing the same thing on our end where you're going to hear certain music and you're going to see the dialogue, but however, you're welcome as well too.
So coming up, one of the noticeable changes is the Jamaican flag on the door.
Mm-hmm.
Tell me about that. I know Sid's that was on Central is now here. So should I expect, because we all know I've been jonesing for soca music, and look, y'all, I'm planning to do a soca workout pop-up. I have to do it. It's for me, but everybody's going to be welcome to come enjoy it. So should I expect soca music here, reggae, soca? What can I expect?
We're definitely going to have different theme nights. And of course, with them being next door and our partners in this, like, we have to, you know?
Okay.
So yeah, the door with the Jamaican flag that you're referring to is actually the entrance to the restaurant side.
Okay.
Even though there is between the wall and opening a door here where people can come in after they order their food, they can come on this side.
Okay.
Enjoy themselves. They can enjoy this dining area as well as the patio, which I love. That's my favorite part, the patio.
Yeah.
So that's the intent here. They can come have a drink, relax, do whatever the case is. So that flag is, so if you ever pass by 22nd, that flag is the opening for the Jamaican spot, Sid's, which is a St. Pete staple.
Yeah.
And everybody's like,
yep, I've had the
they're
food.
ready.
The
and
food
they're
is good.
in a couple of days they will be open too. So I don't want to air this, but they'll be open. But yeah, so we will definitely have different theme nights and just kind of,
so again, food wise, can I expect any other food other than Caribbean food, or is the primary food being offered here Caribbean food?
So on site, yes, except for someone else who has, if you ever pass by, there's a food truck that's outside.
Yep.
That was here before we got here, and we talked to them. And actually, at the soft opening last night, it was perfect that they were there because sometimes people might not want Caribbean food.
Yep.
So it was nice so they could literally walk back in the back of our patio, walk up, get their food, or even order it from the app, and they tell them when it's ready, go pick it up.
Okay.
It was awesome. And then next door, you know, Heavies across the street, another restaurant.
Yeah, I've had the Indian food. It's excellent. It's excellent. Like dine-in food. So yeah, you're right. You have all these different options right here, and you guys are somehow pulling it all together. So when can we expect the open for this side of the business, the catalyst on the Deuces?
We are just waiting for a couple things to be processed with the city.
Okay.
And just for transparency, is, you know, this was strictly dining with just beer and wine.
Yep.
And now we are basically turning our application for a full liquor license.
Got it.
Just like we had at the Manhattan. And they don't let you transfer those. So the minute that's processed, will be good. In a perfect world, we're thinking in the next couple weeks.
Okay.
So that's the goal. We would love for that to happen. Then we'll do like a grand opening. We're going to make it like a whole thing. Like we're going to definitely, all the space will be open. We're probably going to have to use some of the parking lot. I mean, we're going to make it a thing.
Okay. I love it. And I love the revitalization. I mean, you know, on the other side of the courtyard, 2014, I opened a business here. Yeah. And that's when none of the other things you're talking about was here. And,
Right.
so it's work. It takes work. It takes that passion and that dedication and commitment to actually make it do something. So what do you envision happening here? I know you said theme nights. Is it also like, hey, have your reunion here? What does that look like?
So we actually already have some people that have asked us if they can host events and parties here. This is much smaller than the Manhattan, so it's different kind of
Yes.
events. You're talking, 150 people seating wise.
Okay.
But if you do like DJ type stuff, dance stuff like that, you can probably fit more people, especially if you're using the outside as well.
Right.
So that's from other people coming in to host events here.
Okay. So that's still an option.
That's definitely an option for people.
And then, are you guys gonna have a website?
Yeah, we're gonna do website right now. It's just Facebook and Instagram.
Okay.
They can look up the Catalyst on the Deuces.
Okay,
On both of
and
those
then,
platforms.
or is it Sid's at the
Sid's at the Catalyst.
Catalyst is what that side, the food side will be. And when are they opening?
Honestly, they're going to open any day now.
Okay.
They're pretty much done. They just did a little build out stuff they were doing.
Okay.
So they'll be ready. Restaurant license is all good to go. And actually, they were just texting me today for some info. So yeah, they'll be good. So we'll make sure they got, a space so they can bring people so they can sit down and.
Awesome. How did the name Catalyst come to be? How did that become the name?
So funny, we went through, first we were going to call it like Jazzy J's.
Okay.
Because it was me and Jeff, right?
Right.
And then like, are we going to play jazz all the time?
Right.
Like, what was that? And,
Right.
It's talking to somebody like, yeah, it's all right.
I will say, jazz is missing on the Deuces, no question.
We'll be definitely doing that. Second Saturdays, they can always count on jazz. Too,
okay.
So people know.
Okay.
That's the whole point. We want to honor that because it's missing, and that was a thing. In the Manhattan, that was one of our best nights. The second Saturday, that's why we always made sure we had music there. So that's that. But it came up because we were like talking, like, what is it that we're trying to do here? Like, what is it? We're just talking about, and no one actually said the name, but it came up like, yeah, we were trying to be like the Catalyst of the thing. I said, that's it.
Right.
That's the name right there. They're like, what are you talking about? I was like, we want to be the catalyst here. We want to literally revive it. We want to spark it so that people are thinking about it. And they're like, because this has basically been forgotten besides one or two spots that are here. And now it's like the people that came through or have come through over the last couple of weeks. They're like, man, either they've never been here or they haven't been here in a while. And then what's happened is not only are they thinking about coming here, they're thinking about bringing stuff here. Like, oh, that'd be a nice place to put this kind of like, which is why it's a catalyst, in which we understand that obviously we want people to come in and, support our business. But it's really about coming over here because we understand just us being here is going to help the entire area.
It is. That's the way that it works. Light reflects light, light bounces light. I got the flyer for the event last night, and I mean, it looked completely inclusive of the businesses around. That understanding that, what did it say about rising tides? Rising tides lift all boats. So if you create and bring people in the area, whether they're coming over for urban drinkery, but I need something to eat. Now they have another option. Right. Or if this is open.
Feel. That's what we're trying to do. So literally, that's the whole point. We want you to come here and be able to walk. And
have options too, because the fact that you're saying this is a dining space. So if I wanted to get my food over here and come here and grab a drink and sit down
and spend the afternoon. People do that already. Like they'll go there and obviously we're waiting for the license. So it's like, hey, come over here, have a seat. You want some water, want some juice, just to get them used to it. It doesn't matter. Bring it over here.
Right. Let's get and I mean, it's a historic corner. And it's the intersection of the African American Heritage Trail. So I want to say that too. If you've never been on a tour on the African American Heritage Trail, it intersects right here on 22nd Street and 9th Avenue South. So this is a very historic intersection. So someplace to consider visiting. Why bicycles? I don't know why my mind shifted to that, but you are the bike guy. For me, you're the bike guy.
I've always loved bikes as a kid. You know, from St. Pete, they always say I used to ride all across 34th Street. You know, that was me because we moved a lot. So I would end up going to go see my friends, like when we moved from Child's Park to Bethel Heights. You know, so I would always ride back and forth. I would always find a way to get a bike. In retrospect, I have no, you know, I don't even know. I used to get these bikes from friends and we put them together, whatever. So that was the thing. So that was the passion. And then during the pandemic, when we were all kind of looking for active things to do, I just happened to, one of my friends said, hey, we're going to ride a bike. And they ride road bikes, which is very different. And I never forget, I went and rode with them. And I'm kind of, you know, I had a bike with some gears, like a kind of a hybrid type bike. And I was able to keep up because I'm athletic, so I was able to do that. But I definitely was feeling it to the point where they're like, hey, if you want to ride for real, you need to get another bike. And then when I'm up there, kind of looking at these bikes, which are very expensive. And then the salesperson is like, hey, you know, if you want to ride these bikes, you kind of, you know, if you looked at the tire yet. Right. So you got to wear the tights and stuff. And I was like, I don't know if I want to do that. That's not really the look I'm looking for. So they're like, within that week, someone invited me to what they call a ride out. Yes. And I went over in Tampa. And I had never seen anything like that. Yes, you were videoing that because I was like, how can he even ride and hold the camera? I couldn't believe. I was like, man, and it's different because people can express themselves because all the bikes are kind of custom. Yes, like they're, you know, it's like you see the people with the pink bike, people matching their bike. So you know, down here in the South, that's like cars and shoes for us, particularly cars. So it's almost like you're pulling up at the car show with your bike. So you do that. So it became a thing. So obviously, me being St. Pete. And I know that we're very bike friendly. So Car Free St. Pete, they hit me up about stuff. That's why if you ride on that bus trolley, I'm on the training thing. It's like that's my thing. But anyway, and I started realizing that, man, we need to make this over in St. Pete. Wow. So I immediately was like, I went to, you know, find out what ride outs were going on. I joined some of the groups and I just started inviting my friends. You know, they're like, they're like, hey, I want to get a bike. Like you said, like, hey, what kind of bike should I get? Right. To the point where I got a little bit of an addiction. So now I have bikes to spare. My friends want to come out. They don't ride all the time. Extras. Yeah, I bought a Bose speaker for my bike and it's literally named Bike Speaker because when I went on the ride out and I'm like, everybody had their music. I want my music and their music was booming. And we were just in New Orleans. And sure enough, first night we got there, we're down on, I forgot the name of the street, but we're down there. Bourbon? Not Bourbon. It was another street that was pretty important. And sure enough, here comes a ride out. Everybody's bike glowing, music thumping, and I'm like, it was a Friday night. So here's a Friday night, and they're riding. And were you just there? So that was Critical Mass. Just this weekend. So that's Critical Mass. Every last Friday of the month. It's like a worldwide thing, actually. Oh wow. That's why I wanted. So now I'm here. Now I'm getting the connection because that's a great. Every last Friday in all the big cities or whatever. Okay. You see it right. Because I went to one in Miami, which made me want to help pump up the one here. One here. Okay. There was a group, but I was like, Miami, there's like 500 bikes, and they're not even as. First of all, Miami's cool, but their scenery is in St. Pete, and they're not as bike friendly road wise. Yeah. So I was like, we gotta take over. So and I take them through this South Side, like kind of show them our neighborhood. Yeah, like, this is where you are. You're half a mile from here. From here, what a concept! Well, don't take them too far into our neighborhood. Next thing you know, the rest of it is gone. Hey, right. So you're sipping on. I'm sipping on water. What are you sipping on? This is margarita. Must be nice. Friday afternoon. Yes, sipping on margarita. In my new era thinking shirt. In your new venture, getting it together for us to appreciate. Thank you for taking time to sit with me today, and I'm hoping that everyone was able to get some bits and bites to chew on until next time. Thank you. Thank you.